In the She-Hulk series, we find ourselves in Avengers Mansion on Monday in the room of She-Hulk as she just finished getting her cheeks clapped by this dude who happens to be an underwear model named Van Deen. But as Jenny wakes up, she's in her human form and this dude is lying on top of her, so she transforms into She-Hulk, causing Van Deen to fall off the bed. She-Hulk apologizes, but he tells her it's fine, just a little warning next time so he can fasten his seatbelt. In the morning, She-Hulk would be eating a fuck ton of food before telling Jarvis to prepare her another batch, but to go easy on the carbs because she's on Atkins. Jarvis asks if She-Hulk can provide a list for any overnight guests she may have, but She-Hulk tells him she doesn't know what's going to happen night to night, let alone from week to week. Later, She-Hulk would be speeding through the city as she's late for a court case in which she needs to make her closing arguments. She-Hulk even illegally parks because she's an Avenger and she kinda has it like that. But as She-Hulk is in court making her closing argument against Holden Holloway, aka Larry Ellison, she gets an emergency call on comms and she has to leave to go save the world. Now Mallory Book, the opposing lawyer, tells the judge, "Are you fucking serious?" But under the circumstances, the judge sides with She-Hulk. But up in space, as the Avengers duke it out with MODOK, Blizzard has manned a superpowered ice beam and he plans to freeze Earth. But as he shoots the beam towards Earth, Captain America deflects it with his shield. She-Hulk then mobilizes, completely punching through Blizzard's cockpit and ripping him out completely. She-Hulk uses a rope to slam Blizzard into MODOK and knock both of them out. But unfortunately, in all the chaos, Blizzard and MODOK are still able to retreat. But as She-Hulk falls, she's caught by Hercules. Now Hercules asks if there's anything they can do for Jennifer, seeing as she saved the day. But Jennifer requests a big-ass victory party. Later that night at Avengers Mansion, as Jennifer is standing on a speaker dancing, Steve Rogers and Tony Stark watch from a distance as both of these guys are like, okay, this bitch has to go. Respectfully. The next day in court, She-Hulk would proceed to close the case. But as She-Hulk is trying to be nice to Mallory Book, the opposition's lawyer, Mallory says she might request a continuation so she can go get a cat out of a tree. Now this pisses She-Hulk off. Nevertheless, when the jury reaches a verdict, they side with She-Hulk. Now back at the office where She-Hulk works, in commemoration of She-Hulk, they would throw a fat-ass party and everybody would get drunk. She-Hulk would even invite Van Deen so she can get some late-night dick. But later that night, as She-Hulk wakes up, she notices Van Deen under the bed. She starts to beat his ass, as for a second, she thinks he's an agent working for Hydra. But as it turns out, Van Deen was just trying to hit it and quit it and get out before She-Hulk woke up. Later that day, as She-Hulk is in the shower, she would be visited by the Wasp and Captain America. Now these two tell She-Hulk, unfortunately, she has to move out of the Avengers Mansion as she's been abusing Avengers privileges and cleaning out the pantry. She-Hulk is sad, but she tries to keep a calm face. But later that day, as She-Hulk would arrive at the office, she would notice Mallory Book, the opposition's lawyer from yesterday, and she's in the boss's office. Now She-Hulk is like, what the fuck? But unfortunately, the conviction they got yesterday was overturned due to She-Hulk saving the world. They feel as though it was a conflict of interest and the jury was obliged to side with She-Hulk. And to make things worse, her boss also goes on to let her go. Now She-Hulk is like, fuck, so she goes to drown her sorrows in alcohol at the bar. But as she's at the bar, she gets confronted by the Blizzard, who's pissed off that She-Hulk foiled his plan earlier. The Blizzard freezes She-Hulk, but She-Hulk easily breaks out of that shit. Now the Blizzard's like, oh shit, is this the part where you beat my ass? But She-Hulk simply sits back at the bar and offers him a drink. Blizzard and She-Hulk sit down, talking over all their problems as they get drunk. But as Blizzard passes out, She-Hulk tells the barkeep to call the cops and have them pick Blizzard up. But as She-Hulk is at the bar still drinking, she gets confronted by Holden Holloway, aka Larry Ellison. Now She-Hulk thinks Holloway is here to rub in the fact that she got fired, but he's actually here to offer her a job. He offers her a position at Lieber Kurtzberg in Holloway, one of the most prestigious law firms on the East Coast. but he's actually not offering the job to She-Hulk. He's offering the job to Jennifer Walters. Reluctantly, She-Hulk transforms back into Jennifer and accepts the offer. But having transformed back into her human form, she also succumbs to all the alcohol she's consumed as she pukes on Holloway and passes out. The end.